Hello,
Hi.
hello. Apparently, I have my own style of hello. I didn't know that.
Hello, friends.
All right, guys. Today we are talking about budgeting and budgeting specifically on a low income. We get lots and lots of comments about how we have no idea what it's like to live on a low income because we're so stinking rich.
If only you knew.
So we know that's why we're living on a dime to grow rich, because the point of living on a dime is not to stay poor your entire life. And so we lived on a dime, and now we are rich in so many ways. And
compared to our old standard anyway.
Compared to our old standard. And so we're going to talk about our budget. Okay. So first of all, Barbara, if you're on here, we did not get your question if you emailed it. So go ahead and repost it, and Mike will capture it, and we will answer that after we're done talking. I saw you had that. All right. So how to live on a small budget. Now, on our website, livingonadime.com, we have a monthly budget printable here. It's free. You can just go to our website and it's totally free. Okay.
Mike's going to share the link right now. Voila. And it's also in the instructions or
in the description. Okay. So the sample budget on our website is from when we were living with 3 kids at the time, and we got $2,800 a month for 3 kids, with 3 kids. And this was in 2006. So I know people are going to say all the time, well, that was 2006 and prices have gone up today. Not really. I mean, some things have gone up, like food has gone up a little bit, but honestly, my grocery bill is actually going down, not up. And things like maybe your mortgage will be up a little bit. I would give you probably around $1,200, where we were spending $855 on this. And gas was the same price. That's when Obama was in office, I think. Was that when he was in office? Right around then, the gas prices were still really high then. And
well, and people told us before the prices that they paid in the 1960s, and we didn't say, oh, well, we can't do that because our prices are higher now.
Yeah.
We just figured it out and made it work.
Yeah.
Using their advice. So, like the advice we're giving you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you budget when you're on a small income? Number 1, you do not have to have a written down, set in stone budget. Honestly, we have budget lists and we wrote down what we spent each month, but we weren't like set in stone. This is how much we have to spend on groceries. So like if I had $300, let's say, to spend on groceries a month, well, I didn't always spend $300 on groceries. Some months I would spend $100 on groceries, and other months I would spend $500 or $600 on groceries if I found some really good deals. And so really, I don't like budgeting. I don't really budget. So what do? Well, first of all, pay your bills first. What do I mean pay your bills first? Bills that are non-negotiable are your housing. If you're a Christian, your tithe. And that's it. Those are the only 2 things that are absolutely not negotiable, is your housing and your tithe. Okay.
But you're not necessarily locked into the price on the housing though.
True.
Yeah.
You can get cheaper housing if you look for it and you want to do it. So first of all, pay your bills first. So the two things that have to be paid every single month with no ifs, ands, or buts is basically your house. And then if you're Christian, a tithe. But everything else is negotiable, or you can work around it. Sewer, water, trash. Can you combine your trash with other family members or neighbors and only have one trash? Can you cut your trash back to have the pickup once every 2 weeks or something? Can you get no trash at all and have another way of getting rid of your trash? Sewer, water. Can you cut back on your water? How much water you use? You do not need to take a shower every single day unless you're just a really stinky construction worker. Okay, but a daily shower is not a need. It's a want. Phone. What can you do instead of a phone? Can you get a flip phone instead of a smartphone? Can you cut your phone? Do you definitely need a phone? If not, can you change carriers? Can you get a phone through work? Can you share with family members phones? Electric and gas. You do not need to have your air conditioner set on on 65 degrees. You can set it higher, 75, 70, 78, 80 degrees is much better. In the winter, it's okay to have your heat set on 65. You may be a little chilly, but it's okay to have it. So those are negotiable, and you can change what is in your utility bill, even though those are non-negotiable because you have to pay them every month. It is negotiable how much you pay. Hello, friend. So Kimmy's from She's in Her Apron on there, so I was saying hi to her. If you missed it, go watch last week's live show. Gas for your car is very negotiable. Very few people don't have any other alternative than to use their car for gas. A lot of people could take the bus, they could walk, they could ride their bike. A lot of people could carpool. Could you change jobs and work at home? Lots of different ways you can cut back on your gas. Credit cards. Now, basically, credit cards aren't negotiable as far as you're going to have to pay your minimum payment and extra to start getting those paid down. But you should not be using your credit card at all for anything at all. You need to get an emergency savings going and not rely on your credit cards for emergencies or supposed emergencies. And buying groceries is not an emergency.
Actually, we learned, because we said we're only going to use we learned how to use the credit cards and kind of not pay any interest. But nevertheless, we realized we're never going to get out of debt if we keep having balances on credit cards. And we said, no, nothing unless there's an emergency. And so we had a car die, and then we thought, well, let's take out money on a credit card for that. And then we had medical bills, and pretty soon we said there are no emergencies. Mm-hmm. No emergency can be big enough to borrow money.
Yeah. And so you have to get to that point. Internet is not a necessity. And if it is for your job, okay, then that's included in job expenses. But really, the internet is not a necessity, despite what people think nowadays. And then you get to things like your Walmart, paper goods, soaps, toiletries, those kinds of things. Those types of things, a lot of people could cut way back on those and save a lot of money on those things if they would just change what they're buying. Car insurance, car repairs, tags. It's negotiable what kind of car you pay. It's negotiable. Car payments have never been an option for us, ever.
And that's actually made other things cheaper too, because we paid cash for older cars, and older cars they're less expensive for the tags. Mm-hmm. They're less expensive for the insurance. And we were thinking, I'm not living in the car. I'm living in the house. So if the car gets me to work without freezing to death, then I'm good.
Yeah. Haircuts are negotiable. You don't have to have your hair cut. You can have someone trim your ends for you and just have a straight, long haircut or short haircut, however you want to do it. Presents are negotiable. You can shop thrift stores, garage sales, all of those types of places, regifting for birthdays and presents. Show social entertainment. When you're on a low budget, really there should be zero for social entertainment until you get to the point where your debt is paid off, you have a good emergency fund, and you've got yourself set. You need to stop having social and entertainment and no vacation fund. When you're living on a low budget, until you get your income high enough, vacations need to stop. Expensive hair products, nails, manicures, pedicures need to stop. Buying new clothes needs to stop. No car payments needs to stop. Car payment, I would say, is the number one thing that's keeping people poor.
Yep, I would say so too.
I would say number one is having a car payment is what's keeping people poor. You are never going to have money as long as you have a car payment. And so you need to get those things under control. So first of all, stop spending more than you earn. Period.
That's pretty much the solution.
Don't spend money you don't have. If you can't pay cash for it, you can't afford it, period. And I mean for everything, including your cars. Then you need to get your income higher so that you can start paying off all of your debt and getting an emergency fund. So what you want to do is get your emergency fund first of at least $1,000. I would say closer to $2,000 to $5,000, so that if your car poops out on you, you can pay cash for a car. And then get your debt paid off, and then start funding your retirement or saving up to buy a house or whatever. And that is how you get out of the hole and you go from living on a dime to living on a dime, and then you're rich. That's how you do it. Living on a dime. The point of living on a dime is to not moan and groan about how little money you have all the time and expect the government to take care of you for whatever emergency you have. It is living on a dime so that then you are rich enough that when you have any type of emergency, you can cover it and you're okay. And it's funny how I didn't realize this, but people on a low budget, they keep hollering about all their taxes and everything. 51% of the people living in the United States do not pay taxes at all.
Yeah.
No income tax. They don't pay income tax. So people holler about their income tax, but really the majority of people don't pay it anyway. And the rest of us who are, we're funding all of the extra programs that people are on. And it's going to be to the point where you're not going to be able to, it's not going to be able to sustain itself. It's not. But, the best thing you can do is to get out of debt and start helping yourself. All right. So now, why don't I think about, what do I think about budgeting? So we have a budget list here. And on our website, we have printed out our budgets before.
In this budget form, there's one you can download that it'll actually calculate it if you use a spreadsheet program. And OpenOffice is free, so that's a good one to use with it.
There you go. But what we do is we just basically pay our tithe first, then we pay our bills, and then whatever is left over, we put on whatever debt we needed to conquer at the time. Right now, we're paying off our house. And then we will spend a little bit of extra after our debt is paid off for fun stuff. So that's basically the short of it. I mean,
Well,
it's really not difficult.
And
But
if you came here because you're wanting to know how to make a budget, we have these budget forms. But the main reason that people would need a budget normally, because somebody asked if we just what's the difference between a budget and a list of bills. So the budget is primarily because people have trouble controlling themselves on entertainment and what else? Cars. Is that it? There's certain things that people have trouble controlling.
Entertainment, cars, well, just food in general and stuff.
And yeah, entertainment. I would say entertainment and fast food restaurants and convenience food at the store. Basically, paying someone for convenience, because what people don't realize about paying for convenience, like if you go to the fast food place, or if you go to the fast food place, or if you buy. Some convenience foods are worth it if they're not real expensive because of the amount of time they save. But when you pay for convenience things, it's like, do you pay a valet to park your car? Because that's convenience. Well, if you go buy
or just buying stuff like pre-cut up fruits and vegetables and pre-packaged potato chips and sodas and all that kind of stuff, that's all convenience.
Because if you go to McDonald's or any fast food place or even like more trendy places like Qdoba or whatever, you're paying somebody an hourly rate to cook for you because
you're lazy.
Because you think it's better to spend that money than to keep it.
Yeah.
I mean, well, and part of the thing is on that some people don't understand that cooking is a lot easier than a lot of people think, which is why we have the Dining on a Dime cookbooks that we have.
45% off right now.
Trying to figure out on those things instead of just paying for fast food or hearing what they say on YouTube. I'm sharing the link for that. Instead of just paying for fast food or hearing the videos that say fast food is cheaper than making your own food, actually figure out a way to do it.
Well, and Jen says, okay, I'll cook dinner tonight instead of picking up pizza. Yeah. Add up how many times picking up pizza. I mean, what do you spend? $40 on pizza? Let's say you spend $40 3 times a week. That's $120 a week. That is $480 a month. That is $5,760 a year. Let's say you earn $20 an hour. That is $288 a year, and it's actually closer to $350 a year by the time you spend all your extras. So let's say, 350 hours a year. And so 350 hours a year divided by 40 hours a week, you could take off 7 weeks a year. You could take off almost 2 months of work just for eating out. Really think about that. Is it worth eating out 3 times a week for 2 months worth of work? I know person after person after person who complains how tired and exhausted they are from working their job, and they just don't have time or the energy to cook. Yet, if they would cook at home, quick and easy 15-minute meals, like our Dining on a Dime cookbook, you could take off 2 months worth of work almost.
Yeah, and
that's a lot.
You have to think about that with everything because, we know some people in town who work at jobs that are somewhere between $12 and $15 an hour, and they like to get DoorDash delivered to the store. Well, the thing is, the DoorDash costs them like $30 for McDonald's or $25 or something like that because they're paying the delivery driver to go get it and bring it back. And even though it's great that delivery driver gets to make money, do you want to work at their 12 to 15 hour job, 2 hours for that? That's all. So out of the 40-hour work week, you're spending a 20th of it on DoorDash.
Yeah. And guys, listen, Dining on a Dime cookbooks, if you need something easy, these are easy recipes, quick and easy, get you in and out of the kitchen.
Faster than going to the drive-thru most of the time.
Faster than going through the drive-thru. The red one is volume 1. The blue one is volume 2. And then our gluten-free, dairy-free is the green one, for those of you wondering what's the difference. But we have person after person who just will testify that they have saved so much on their grocery bill just from using the recipes in our cookbook and our website, livingonadime.com. So that's basically the quick version of how to save on your budget on a low income, how to budget on a low income. It's really not hard, but it really amounts to that you have to spend less than you earn, pay your bills first, and then buy the fun stuff.
Well, and I think low income people probably have a little less trouble with this one thing I'm about to say, because but a lot of people that are kind of in the middle range, if they think if they're doing their bills and they think, oh, there's not really room in the budget for that, we'll just put it on a credit card. The problem is that's like cutting yourself and letting some blood out because you're sick. Like, it's going to make you worse. So if you put it on a credit card, you're overspending today, and then you're charging yourself more later. And in our situation, when we had stuff on a credit card, sometimes later was harder than the time when we put it on the card, and we should have not put it on the card in the first place. So that's a really important thing. And the main thing is, like on that budget form that Tara had, I don't see where it is, but it has your income and your spending. And if they don't line up, like at the bottom, there's a subtract the income from the spending. If those don't line up, then you have to cut something. And there's a point where you can look at it and say, pretty much everybody has some sort of a sacred cow. Like, I like eating out. I like going to Fur Coffee. It's my secret, whatever they say. And there's a point where you have to say, okay, do you want your heat or do you want your coffee? And you have to start. And occasionally we had to make some pretty tough decisions. Like, do we have the heat at a temperature that we really like, or do we fix the car? Those decisions most people don't have to make. We did have to make those decisions. But if you set those things side by side, the obvious one will come up. And sometimes it's not fun. Like when I met Tara, when we got married, I knew that some things that I liked to do, which was often involved putting it on a credit card, that it wasn't really a wise thing to do. And when I was married and she said, we can't be spending money on that anymore, I realized, okay, this is true. We have to stop. And it wasn't fun. It was a little bit painful because I was used to eating fast food, taking pictures when it was film cameras and you had to spend like $15 to develop the film and $4 to buy the film, and going to the movies, stuff like that. We had to just cut it all and say that we can't afford that right now. It's not like you can't ever do it, but if you cut all those things out and you live within your budget, and then pretty soon you live under your budget and you can start saving money and getting ahead on things in life, then it gets easier. And at some point we eventually reach the place where we could actually say, we just feel like doing something today. Let's go do it. Like last night, we went to a show here in town, and we wouldn't have done that at all before. But now we were like, well, it's not a disaster for us to spend a little money because we no longer have any of that budget debt problem that we had before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Amelia says she thinks of how many hours you have to work. Yes. The number one tip that we have promoted for 25 years is calculate how many hours it costs you to work for something. So like I just calculated for eating out 3 times a week at $40 a pop, you are working almost 8 weeks out of the year just to pay for eating out. Is that worth it for you? Some people it may be. But I guarantee you, for me, it never was. Let's see, where'd it go? Oh dear. Girl with a Plan says their egg roll recipe is better than takeout. It is. Oh my goodness. I don't eat any other egg rolls because mine are so good.
And we're sharing the links for the books. Somebody asked, where do I buy the book? If you go to livingonadime.com and just click store, I'll take you right there. Yep. But I'm also sharing the links in the comment.
Okay, put your questions in the comments. Mike will send them to me. Go ahead and send me the first batch of them. Kentucky Nana says it's crazy what people spend eating out. My daughter-in-law is very spoiled. My son spends $40 to $80 each time for 7 of them, depending on where they ate. That's ridiculous. And then they say the wife has to work. Sorry, I guarantee you probably 85 to 90% of the women in 2-family homes, I mean, I get it if you're a single mom, but in 2-income homes, I guarantee you I could find 80 to 90% of the people I could find where the mom wouldn't have to work if she didn't want to. But people choose to, and that's fine if you're choosing to do that. But we get complaints all the time from people saying how they wish they wouldn't want to. Iva, the egg rolls are in volume 1.
Oh, they're awesome.
If you go to livingonadime.com, the recipe is also on there now.
They're highly addictive.
They are very good. I haven't made those for a really long time.
But if you felt like doing it, I wouldn't be opposed.
You wouldn't be opposed?
No.
Okay, Lynn. She has learned so much from us. She's in Virginia. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yay,
Sincerely,
thanks,
Denver. Just had to share. I made the scones from your Dining on a Dime Volume 1, and they are delicious.
Yay.
Thank you. It's my daughter's recipe. Freedom Rain. We are a family of 7 and make it comfortably on $1,100 a month. Yep, there you go. It can be done. It really can be done. People just really don't want to.
Well, and some things. Did you talk about the housing? If your housing is frightfully expensive, you might have to move, and it's not easy necessarily to move. But we did it a number of times because the cost was just too high. So like we know a lot of people in the Denver area and they spend $1,500 a month on a 1-bedroom. And the solution is move from the Denver area. Like there are other places where there are jobs that pay similar amount of money, but the housing is a lot less expensive.
Yeah. Genergy, if people really want to accomplish something, they will. The rest just whine and complain. Yes. I mean, that's what it amounts to. I was not, well, I couldn't work because I was sick, but I was not also going to have someone else raising my kids. So my kids were not going to be in daycare. And so that was a decision that we made. And we were able to do it. There was no option. I was not going to put my children in daycare. So there was no other option. So what could we do to do that? To accomplish that, even on $6 an hour. That's what we did. At one point, Mike was earning $6 an hour for 2 kids, and we had 2 kids. So anyway, yeah. Or $9. That was $9 an hour, I guess, when we had 2 kids. Nancy Miller, I agree with Tara. I don't like budgets either. It seems like they prevent from buying super bargains. Yeah. Budgeting does not curb your spending. Just getting some self-control when it comes to spending is the only thing that's going to keep you from spending too much. Now, if it helps you to see where your money is going, that's fine, but it's really not a budgeting problem. It's just a self-control problem is what it is.
And some of the budget things can help if you have, like, for instance, we really don't like the envelope plan, the cash and all that, but if you just can't help yourself but to always blindly spend money on convenience things, then it might be good to have an envelope for that. And when it runs out, you just have to discipline yourself that, wow, it's March 7th and I can't spend anything else for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
Because I've already overspent my budget.
Vicky says electric is a killer in Arizona during the summer. Yes, I know. I used to live in Kansas and Texas, so I totally understand it, but it's still doable. You can still set your AC on 78 or 80. And especially in Arizona where it's dry, and be just fine. Diane says, we are barely making enough to live. We paid our bills and we had to figure out how to survive on the money we had left. There was no point in budgeting. Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's the way it is. Let's see, Jen, I'm exploring alternatives and we are considering a wood furnace for heating and getting back on the land with a well and septic. Those alone would save $400 a month, I think. Hope to soon be car payment free. So people have this misconception that moving to the country is going to save them money. It is not. I have lived many houses in rural cities, or not cities, but in rural living. And then I've also lived in the city. And I will guarantee you, living in the country does not save you money. The trips to town, the emergency problems, the lack of available competition for stores, the lack of good grocery deals because there's not enough stores and that kind of thing. It doesn't save you money, but it is good to be as self-sufficient as possible. And having things like a wood burning fireplace can save you in other areas, but you will pay for it by lack of competition for good deals and more money in gas and wear and tear on your car driving in and out of town. Nancy, if you have debt, only time you go to a restaurant is if you work there. Yeah, pretty much. Somebody said on here, yeah, you need a break every now and then if you cook dinner every night. Okay, I'll give you 3 or 4 times a year, but sorry, if you're in debt and hawk your eyeballs, no.
Well, that's the thing is how
we didn't have date night until all of our debt was paid off.
But I mean, if your debt's paid off and you have a budget where you kind of need to keep your money under control, then it might be a little bit easier to do that. But when you're in debt, you're never going to get out of debt if you have the mindset.
Yeah.
Because people don't get into debt. Well, okay, with cars they do. But mostly people don't get into debt by buying one item for $100,000. They get into debt by buying 100,000 items for $1 each. Yeah. Because it's easy to spend that $1 each and not even realize that you're doing it.
20
Especially if you
manicures
just swipe a card or tap a card. Wow,
300
so easy.
Starbucks a year. Yeah.
And when you do carry debt, that debt costs you more. So instead of paying $6 or $7 for that coffee, you're probably going to spend $13 or $15 for it after you're done paying all the interest until you pay it off on the card.
Stephanie wants to know what a good ballpark for emergency fund is. I just get started, but I mean, I would do 3 and then 6 months for sure.
For us, I think it's a good idea to have a pretty good pad there. But when we had debt, a lot of non-house debt, we had an emergency fund for a few months, and then we were hammering the debt hard because it's probably smarter to have a longer one, but we didn't want to keep paying interest on debt while we were trying to save it up. So we saved up enough for a short-term emergency.
Yeah. Jen says card games and potluck gifts are best social entertainment at any income. Yep. True.
There are actually so many things you can do free that we've discovered over the years.
Yep. Barbara, my daughter is still paying $500 a month for her car payments. Wow. That's a lot. By the way, Barbara, put your question that you said earlier. We didn't get your email, so I don't know what your question was. So if you want to post it in there, we can talk about it. Miss T, there is plenty of free social entertainment. Get creative. Yeah, that's what we were just saying. How is everyone doing? Pretty good. Jack is sick and I'm sick, but we're doing pretty good, I guess, sort of. I'm just waiting for Jesus to come. I'm done.
Well, I didn't hear what the first part of that was.
All right, Kentucky. I color my own hair. I use store money to get the things I need. Yes. I colored my own hair for years until I decided to stop coloring my own hair. Trish, stop going to Disney World. Just stop it. Oh, I know. Don't get me started on Disney. That's ridiculous. People seem to think it's a need, and it's not.
Well, and I don't know. People must be making a lot more. For that many people to go, they must be making a lot more money than I imagine people making, because it's like $10,000 to go.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Genergy says, I found your channel about 6 months ago and you are my favorite. Oh, thanks. I love that you both are caring and honest to just tell it like it is. See, somebody likes it that I tell the way I tell it like it is.
Yeah.
See? Uh-huh.
Somebody does.
I am vindicated.
Just kidding.
I am vindicated.
Aw.
Marilyn Monroe, that is basically what I did when I was getting out of debt. Paid the house off in 2020. You go. Good job. Simple guy, simple life. Fast food does not save you time either. No. I mean, those lines at the fast food places, you could easily spend 45 minutes waiting to get your food at the fast food place. Easily.
Well, and back when people were talking about, I mean, the inflation is still there. It's the rate that it's increasing has slightly decreased, but it's still increasing way more than it used to be. Mm-hmm. But even when people were super aware of it and talking about it all the time, we noticed you drive past Taco Bell and there are 14 cars in line in the drive-through, and it was kind of amazing that way.
Nancy, our 56-year-old budget has always been simple. If you don't need it, don't buy it. Yep. Exactly. And if you have to charge it, you don't need it. Yes, exactly. If you have to charge it, you don't need it. Janet, we taught her how to not waste food. Yay.
Yay.
Carol, do your kids practice your same frugality? Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. They're not like super tightwads, but they always look out for a good deal, and none of them. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think they do, as far as I know. I mean, we don't know all their expense. We have 3 adult kids now, and we don't know all of their breakdown of their expenses, but from what they tell us and stuff, I think they do. Jim, even fast food is getting expensive, about $25 for a combo at Five Guys. Holy cow, are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. Wow. Yeah. Tanya says, I used to spend $200 to $300 a month. Yes, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Send me the next box. Tanya says, I used to spend $200 to $300 a month eating out and couldn't figure out why I couldn't pay off my car. Yes. Thank you for that testimonial, because yes, people do not understand. I was being very generous by saying people were just spending, what was it, $240 or something a month? Because I think it's way more than that for most people. Wanda says, sometimes deliveries are incorrect and it's not as tasty as it used to be. Yeah, I mean, the amount of times that we've gone out to eat, as a matter of fact, we're at the point now where we really don't even try new restaurants because we're so tired of trying restaurants.
We have one that we go to. We like it a lot, and that's it.
Yeah.
And we go there on date night because we can afford it now.
Yeah, because we're rich now. But I get so frustrated to go spend $15 on a meal, and I'm like, oh, I could have cooked this way better. And so, yeah. Grace says she grew up on the Not Just Beans cookbook, and I bought a copy when I got married. Our family's been enjoying 20 years of frugal eats. Wow. We have the best apple crisp. So Not Just Beans is what the original title of a Dining on a Dime cookbook was. I know, bad marketing. But that was the original volume 1, and then volume 2, 25% off right now, guys, at livingonadime.com, and our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. Also, for those of you who are like me and gluten-free, dairy-free. Lisa, how do they get away with not paying income tax? Well, they don't earn enough because they're low income. So, and a lot of people get tax refunds back for child tax credits. And so a lot of people don't pay income taxes.
Well, a lot of people that think they pay income taxes don't. Mm-hmm. Because there are all sorts of, they call them tax credits, but it's kind of really welfare, really. The government is just taking tax money from some people and giving it to other people in order that they vote for them. So yeah, half the country doesn't pay any tax at all. So it's easy for those people to vote for more taxes because they don't pay them.
They don't pay any.
Yeah.
Lori, we used to put cash in envelopes for things like cleaners, haircuts. Yes. Mm-hmm. Diana watched Living on a Dime to Grow Rich, and go back and watch their videos. It changes your thinking over time, and you will find 4 more ways to be frugal. Yes.
Actually, I was thinking about what she said is that I'm curious over time how much you can see that in our videos, how we've sort of changed from when we started doing the shows and stuff.
Let's see. What do we do for entertainment? Not a lot at the moment. We're trying to do more just because we need to get out a little bit more, but mostly the boys go hiking in the summer. I've taken up painting. I do gardening. I read. But going out for entertainment, we'll do the free stuff here in town. Our city has a lot of free stuff. So we'll go to their, street markets and stuff like that. The park, they have $1 day swimming. We'll do stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think partly the question was because if somebody else is low income, what can they do? And what we discovered is pretty much all cities and towns have events that if you can find out where the events are publicized. A lot of times they're publicized at libraries or on a group on Facebook or some kind of thing like that. And they'll have a lot of free public events. Like our town has Third Thursdays where the whole town gets out and just walks around. There's entertainment downtown, and it's free unless you decide to buy something. Yeah, and when we lived in Colorado, we did pay for the pass for the Rocky Mountain National Park, but it was at the time it was like $40, and we could go as much as we want all year long. Mm-hmm. And so we'd go hike, and pretty much it was almost free for that.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of events like concerts in the park sometimes, or different, just sort of all different things like that we found that you can do. You can also go to like a lake or pond and hang out there and feed the ducks. And I mean, there's just, if you're creative and if you pay attention to what's going on in town, you'll be able to find a lot more of that kind of stuff.
Karen says sometimes putting it all in budget form will help you see where your money is going. Yeah, and that's fine if that works for you. I mean, that's okay if that works for you. Kimberly, I keep my kitchen clean all the time because that saves us money. Tara tip, I am more willing to cook more spaghetti tonight with ground turkey that I found on sale for $1.27 a pound last fall. Very good. That is great. Yeah, I mean, dirty dishes cause debt is one of our articles on our website, livingonadime.com. I think I have it in maybe volume 1 of Dining on a Dime. I can't remember. But one of the biggest causes of eating out is just people not doing their dishes. And it literally takes like 3 minutes to do your dishes as soon as dinner is done. If you just do them right away, you don't have to wait and soak sticky stuff off and everything. Just do them immediately. And it doesn't take 5 minutes. It takes very little time at all. But people don't do that. And so that's where the problem comes in. Sarah, I put my groceries, card, insurance, phone on credit cards. I had my debit card stolen. So I'd rather use my credit card to transfer money online. I work lots of overtime trying to save up for a down payment on a home. Houses in my area are expensive. I don't buy things I don't need. Yeah. Very good. Good for you. Valerie, love your books and recipes. Thank you. I save money, plus it's better for you than the quick processed foods. Yeah, but you know what? I would rather having you eat, somebody else posted something about getting TV dinners or something. I would rather have you eat processed foods and TV dinners than going out to eat, because I guarantee you 100% the stress of your job causing you for you to pay for going out to eat healthy foods versus eating just a box of macaroni and cheese at home is way more harmful to you than that processed food will ever do you, ever. And people need to stop making eating healthy hard. It's not. You can have boxed macaroni and cheese with some hamburger and some baby carrots and some cut up cucumbers, ranch dressing, some applesauce, fruit cocktail, whatever, sliced apples, sliced oranges. You can have a very healthy meal and still eat macaroni and cheese. So people need to stop getting it into their minds that just because you're poor, that's why you're not eating healthy. That's a bunch of baloney.
Well, and also it's kind of a scam that they've brainwashed everyone to think that in order to eat healthy, you have to eat some kind of exotic grains from South America, and you know, you have to pay a lot of extra money for like quinoa is what I was thinking of. Not to say that there's anything wrong with quinoa, but what I'm saying is they've brainwashed people to think you must eat these things, and regular food is like disease somehow and evil and it's going to kill you. Yeah. And it's like a brainwashing to get you to spend more money on their products. So, yeah.
Kitchen update, please. So the kitchen. So
yeah, about that.
Our window was supposed to be here May 1st, 8 days ago at the latest. Couldn't get a hold of anybody to tell me anything because the guy fell and hit his head and was out sick, and no one else apparently knew anything, which is a little weird. But anyway, just found out, was it yesterday or day before yesterday, I think? Anyway, just a day or two ago that now it's going to be April before our window comes.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. We had a major setback. I think I posted that. Did I post that in yesterday's Taiwan Tuesday? We had a major setback with the microwave issue. A stupid microwave brings a thousands of dollars kitchen remodel to a halt and costs us probably $1,500 for the solution when I had a $60 solution we should have just done in the first place. But anyway, so now the microwave's going to go on the counter after diddling around with it and spending a ton of money trying to figure out how to fix the microwave. So that was an issue. We got a section done on Mike's brilliant idea today that I was super happy with. And we got part of my bar or island, I guess is what it's called now. Got my island figured out and some drawers put in, or shelving, slide out shelving put in my island today. They had a major problem with painting the cabinets. The paint sprayer splatted dots, blobs of paint all over.
Where was this?
In the garage.
I mean, on what things? Oh, on the cabinets. Oh, okay.
So they had to go in and sand all the cabinets down, respray them. I'm not sure that spraying cabinets is the way to go. Everybody says they spray the cabinets. I'm not sure. My rollering I've been working on the laundry room because I decided to paint all my laundry room because I liked it so much. And my rollering looks just as good as the spraying. I don't think spraying the cabinets really saves anything. Now I have intricate detail on my cabinets, which is why I had them spray it, because it would have been harder to do with a roller and a brush. But after all the trouble that they've had, which none of it's really been their fault, and then, oh my goodness, I will never use Sherwin-Williams or Home Depot's Behr paint again. They are both absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. I don't know what, and don't tell me I bought cheap paint. This paint was $120 a gallon. I was ticked at Sherwin-Williams. $120 a gallon at Sherwin-Williams. I was just livid, and it's just a mess. It literally just drips off the brush. I mean, it's just like water, just like the Behr at Home Depot. And so I ordered some. Well, I didn't order some, but they were ordering paint for the restore. And I told them, I said, I'll take 10 gallons because this paint is awful. And I got some from the restore, and it's so much thicker. It goes on so much better. And it's $18 a gallon instead of $39 and $120 a gallon. Sherwin-Williams is awful. I am so thankful. I had seriously considered approaching Home Depot to do a sponsored kitchen remodel, for sponsoring our kitchen remodel. And they probably would have done it. We're big enough that they would have done it. I am so glad I did not ask Home Depot to sponsor this, because I'm telling you, halfway through, I would never recommend Home Depot for anything. It has just been awful. Between the appliances, and they have appliances on their website for order that they took my money for. And then 4 or 5 days later, they call me and say, oh, they're not selling those appliances anymore. I was just like, are you kidding me? And the products, I mean, it's just, don't get me started on Home Depot. Home Depot is the only option we have in our town. Basically, we have 2 smaller hardware stores, but I went to one of them yesterday to get the countertops, and the lady's like, at the smaller hardware store, and the lady's like, well, it'll be 2 weeks before we can get you a quote. I'm like, 2 weeks before you can get me a quote? I said, I'm sorry, I can order it online and have the product in 2 weeks. I'm not going to wait 2 weeks for a quote. That's absolutely crazy. So anyway, yeah. So it's going. It is really slow because of all the snow and everything that they're having to do. So, we understand that. But we're kind of at the point now where we're like, yeah, we'd kind of like to be done with it. My parents spent 20 years remodeling their house. And so there's a reason why I haven't done anything like this before, because I didn't want to mess with it. And we spent 5 years remodeling or trying to finish our basement at the last house. And so I'm like, I just want to be done with it and have everything done. But, now it looks like the middle of May probably before we'll be done. Shannon says, I drive for DoorDash and I won't even order food through it. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yep. Susan says, avoid emotional spending, period. Yep, I totally agree. Send me the next batch. Francis says, I go to the half price rack at my grocery store. Yep, lots of bargains. I do too. I do. Kate, when watching your stockpile video, I noticed your sternos. They sell them at dollar store for $1.25 each with a 2.5 hour burn time or 2 hour burn time. My friend in Texas, when the power went out, missed having a hot cup of coffee, so I called her right away. She went to the dollar store and purchased. Yep, I noticed that at our Dollar Tree didn't have them, but let's see, where was I? Billings, I think. Our Billings Dollar Tree had them last year, and I was just kicking myself for not getting more. Lisa, our date nights were spent at home after the kids were in bed. Yep. We did not have date night until after our house was paid off. We'd been married. Let's see, we're married, 28 years now? So we had been married probably 25 years. We just started going out to eat for date night for Mike and I after we'd been married 25 years. People say, oh, you had your mom to help. Well, she helped us, but we never got not that much, not for babysitting.
I mean, we appreciate what she did, but we didn't just take the kids there like a lot of people do and leave them there all the time.
No, we never had that luxury because, first of all, she's sick and she can't watch them for more than a few hours. She's the only grandparent basically that my kids had. I mean, they had their great grandparents, but not in town or anything. But Mike's parents were non-existent in their lives, and so mom was the only grandparent. So she would babysit them when she lived in the same town as us. Like more than half the time, she hasn't even lived in the same town as us. So anyway, she would take them and watch the other kids if I would have to take one to the doctor. And we would get our anniversary once a year. She would watch them so we could go out on our anniversary. But we didn't have babysitter with our kids, and so we couldn't just go out whenever we wanted. So we didn't even have a babysitter to go out to eat. So we just didn't do it. And believe me, it's not a necessity. It's really nice, but it's definitely not a necessity. So let's see. Kimberly, car payments is the number one reason why the middle class stays the middle class. Yeah. I mean, it's so true. It's why you are poor. If you have a car payment and you can't pay your bills, that's why. I'm telling you. It's a plan by the elites to keep you in the middle class. Now that I don't believe.
Wait, I didn't see that question. Where?
Kimberly says that car payments is the number one reason the middle class stays in the middle class. No, it's not. It's not about the elites. It has to do with people making bad decisions about their finances.
I mean, if people say, I'm going to sell a car for $10,000 and they can't keep them in stock, and then they say, I'm going to sell them for $50,000 and the same amount of people still buy them, that's supply and demand. As long as people are willing to buy it. And the reason people are willing to buy it is because people aren't smart enough to realize that the bank is offering you credit so that they can make a ton of money off of you for not doing anything except temporarily letting you hold their money. Yeah. So that's not really, I mean, I agree that there are some elite people who are trying to kind of control other people, but I don't think that financial things are mostly that. I think financial things are mostly people are
Yeah.
lured into doing dumb things because they want something right now and they're just impatient and have no self-control.
Lori, we played cards with a friend and shared meals every Friday with kids. Yep. That's what my grandparents did for lots of years. Wanda says there's lots of them that like us, that like it when I'm honest.
Yes.
The pastor asked me something at church the other day, and I was like, well, let me just preface this by saying tact is not my spiritual gift. He just chuckled.
Yes.
And
He
I
chuckled?
then I proceeded to tell like it was anyway.
Yeah. Tact is not my spiritual gift. You have 5 seconds to run before I start telling you.
Hey, he didn't quote any of the rein in your tongue verses, so I guess he was okay with it. Shannon, I don't like food anymore going out to eat. Yeah, I know we don't either. Cynthia, we just had pizza tonight using the Dining on a Dime pizza crust. Yes, this is the best pizza crust recipe. I came up with this when Mike and I were first married. This is one of the first recipes that I came up with. And
Which one?
the pizza crust.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's really good. It makes really good breadsticks too, and garlic bread. I'll have to make that when we get our kitchen back. So anyway, let's see. Most movie theaters have $5 Tuesday tickets. I know, but $5 is a lot of money. That's a whole dinner. Do you want to spend that just on movies? You may not be able to afford it if you're on a low income. Single Guy Simple Life how long does fresh chicken broth and chicken bone skins last in the freezer? A long time, 18 months, 2 years. You could use it for a really time. Prairie Patriot, did you see the Jesus Revolution? I saw it yesterday and liked it. No, we haven't seen it. Although Calvary Chapel, the church, it's not really a denomination, but the church group.
The movement. I think they called it a movement.
The Calvary Chapel movement. We have been to several Calvary Chapels, and we watch many Calvary Chapel preachers online, and we really like them. Most are pretty good. Pastor Jack Hibbs is one of the top ones.
But some of them have gone kind of sideways.
Some of them have gone south. Yeah.
So there's kind of a
divide now.
Certain group is separating themselves a little bit from the others because some of them have gone, like I said, sort of sideways. And so
kind of like the Baptists and the Southern Baptists now with their women pastors and all that stuff.
Oh, look who's here. It's Ellie.
Oh, Ellie. Hello, my daughter. How are you? Lynn, she's making guacamole from volume 2 right here. Yes, I have a lot of guacamole still in my freezer from that 100 avocados.
It is nice because we could just say, I'm feeling like guacamole this week. Just pull one out of the freezer and after not having had it consistently for a long time just because it was too expensive.
Carissa made the pancakes. They are the best and easiest I have ever made. Thank you. The pancakes are very, very delicious, aren't they? Maybe I'll make that for dinner tonight. That sounds kind of good, actually.
Which one?
Pancakes.
Oh, yeah. It does kind of sound good.
Angela, I'm sure miss your online cooking. Thank you. When we get the new bar, I don't know. I might do some cooking for my recipe channel, Super Easy Recipes. I might do some cooking for that. Living on a Dime people don't like my cooking videos. I know some of you say you like my videos, but my cooking videos on Living on a Dime really don't do much. S. Lample says, I received my Bible. Thank you. You are welcome. You are welcome. If you guys need a free Bible, livingonadime.com, go to the shop, click on the free Bible, and there's a code that says Bible, free Bible. You can use that and get a free Bible. We do not call you, visit you, nothing. It's just for you to read the Word of God yourself.
And I'm sharing the link right now in the comments, and it's also in the description below.
And Cynthia says we recently moved because of housing prices. Yeah. I don't know how many times we've moved because of housing prices or issues because we couldn't afford housing. So yeah. Nancy says, okay, now I'm going to make the egg rolls after hearing how good they are. I'm telling you. She says so many things in book number 1 are fantastic, but she also loves volume 2. Also, yep, 25% off right now, guys.
The funny thing with those egg rolls is I remember when we first made them, and I was a little skeptical that they would actually, I thought they were going to be kind of like the ones you get in the box at the freezer section of the store. She made them, and I was thinking, these are better than the restaurant ones.
They were good.
And we
They
ate
are
like
good.
20 of them at once because we made them at home. So that's a temptation. We had to start like separating out some of them. So we didn't eat them all at the same time.
South Loop, what kind of ginger in the egg rolls? Powdered or fresh? You can use either one you want. I always use powdered because I don't have fresh on hand most of the time, but you can use either one. Jan says she always asks if there's senior rate. Yeah, I don't even have to ask now. They're giving me the senior rate.
What's funny is they give her the senior rate, but they don't. Well, they give it to her without asking. They don't give it to me. I probably could get it if I asked, but I'm young enough that I don't really qualify for it either. But I think it's just because, the gray hair. Although, man, you are rocking that gray hair, girl.
Okay, thank you. Will you keep me around for a while? You're not going to turn me in for a 20s model?
No. No offense.
Oh, no hesitation.
20-somethings, but there's a lot of kind of growth that happens over time, and yeah.
No, here, let's do this for Ellie. Mwah.
Oh, that was very nice.
I can just hear her in the background going, oh. Let's see. How do you budget for date night? What is a reasonable amount? Do you do tacos or Chinese place? You go to the buffet. So we basically go to a taco place where we split a plate of fajitas. And then we go to the Chinese place, which is a buffet. So we have to pay for 2. We do about Chinese 2 or 3 times a month. And then Chinese about every 6 weeks or so. So we go about 3 times a month. But I mean, it's just whatever your budget can afford. Like we budget about $25 a week now. But we make a whole lot of more money than we used to. So it's different. But yeah.
Wait, were you talking about the Chinese and the Mexican?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we like the Mexican when it's kind of more of our regular, and the Chinese just occasionally when did you already say that part?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
The Chinese just occasionally when we don't feel like Mexican. It's kind of nice to be able to be in that place.
So we have doubters. So Zarlita says, have we ever lived in a humid place and kept the temperature 78 to 80 in the summer?
Yes. Actually,
it is not hard.
Are you sure it's a doubting question or just a?
It's a doubting question.
Is it a doubting question?
I can tell.
Yeah,
it is very easy to do. We have never, ever kept our air conditioner below 78 degrees. We lived in Wichita, Kansas, which is very hot and humid. We lived in Austin, Texas, which is very humid. Not as humid as Wichita, but it's humid.
And Austin's hot and humid, so it's 90 degrees for 6 months out of the year.
We've lived in Manhattan, Kansas, Alta Vista, Kansas. So yes, we know heat and humidity, which is why we live in Wyoming now, because I choose to not spend $350 on my electric bill. Because I choose not to spend $350 on my electric bill. Does my daughter think I bought $800?
$800?
No, 800, not 800. 100.
But even for 100, I bet Ellie's jumping in the car right now to come up and use some of our avocado. Ellie made the guacamole and froze it in these little flat plastic baggies. So we just pull one out, leave it on the counter for 20 minutes, and it's good to go.
So do we need to save
so
some?
Cool.
So do we need to save some for her for Memorial Day when they can finally get through?
Yeah. Do you think
when the roads are open again for Memorial Day?
I don't know. Spring doesn't start till June in Wyoming.
Jerry says, my husband and I are going to get our house paid off this year. We are too. We are going to be house paying off buddies. I'll be the first in my family with a paid off house. Cars totally debt free. You go, girl. That is awesome. Great. Maybe next one's Linda. Due to emergency last week, I purchased 2 fast food burgers and sides, no drinks, and it totaled $18. I about fell over. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Jerry. But you know what? Okay, Barbara, we still didn't get your question, so send it back in if we missed it. Jerry, this is the problem. Do you know how long the fast food lines are every single day? And I guarantee you 98% of those people going through those lines are in hock up to their eyeballs. I know they are.
Well, I do think a lot of people have the sense that if I want to decide to buy something, I just have to look at my bills and my debt, and if there's a little bit more space in there to pay the minimum payment on another debt, then I can afford it. I think a lot of people think like that.
Crazy.
So yeah,
Right,
but that's the way to always be in debt and to always be thinking that the man is after you. Yes, I sent it to you.
Jerry says, I work for a store that requires me to ask customers if they want to apply for a store credit card. I ask but refuse to push it. The interest rate is 30%. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. Is it tea you're looking for? Yes, actually, thank you. I'll have a couple. I love my cookbooks and planner. Thank you. 25% off our cookbooks right now. And then for those of you who don't know, we do have our daily planners, guys. Right here, almost 400 pages, our daily planners. I got the video done for all of you guys asking right here. Undated, so you can start now and use it for an entire year and not lose any pages. Don't worry about only using 3/4 of planner because it's undated, so you can just start now and use it for a whole year. And then our volume 2 Dining on a Dime cookbook and our volume 1 Dining on a Dime cookbook, quick and easy recipes get you in and out of the kitchen, 25% off, and our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook, 25% off right now also.
Oh, you're confusing Barb Polly. She says, which Barbara? Because I posted my question at the beginning.
Oh, Barbara Hawkins.
There are a lot of Barbaras.
Hawkins. She said she had a question and we never got it, so I don't know where it went. But let me see. It didn't come in our email, did it? Nope, I don't see it. So I don't know what happened. Okay.
Mike, that was a good save telling Tara she's rocking the gray hair. You know, actually, I really, really like it.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, Jan says, Mike, you might be surprised the senior rate may just be age 50. Whoa, I should find out a place where that's true.
So somebody was calling me out saying, well, if you're a Christian, that's not right to be getting the senior discount. I don't ask for the senior discount.
They just throw it on there without telling you.
Well, I will admit, when I was in Boulder at the thrift store with some very liberal people, I will say, I did say,
oh, yeah.
I did say, well, I identify as a senior, so do I get the senior discount? Yeah, I shouldn't have gotten smart, but I did. Like, I'm sorry. Seriously? Okay. So, yeah. How much do you budget for skiing? None. He's not going right now.
Well, no, but our skiing here.
Skiing is cheap here compared to Colorado.
It's cheap here compared to Colorado, but it was still like $40 for the. Actually, it was like $40 for the rental and the lift tickets. Which, if you've skied in Colorado, it's like $100 just for the lift tickets. But I don't ski a lot. Last year, I think I've skied once this year and once last year. Might be nice to do it a couple of times, but because we went one time with Jack had a field trip at school, and stuff like that. So
we really don't do a ton of entertainment stuff. We're actually trying to do more now. Our lives have gotten so I don't know. We have no life. So anyway.
Well.
Yeah. So anyway.
I was thinking, well, probably since we can, I think we were gonna. I've been really pushing like crazy to pay off the small amount that's left on the house, but with the kitchen and the stuff with ordering new books because we're getting ready to run out of certain books that a lot of people seem to want. It's been harder than I expected. And so I was thinking I'm going to kind of slow down a little bit on that payoff. We'll still get it done this year and probably even later in the summer. But last night we went to a little show in town at a theater downtown that was kind of fun. And I thought if we can afford it now, we'll probably do a little bit more of that kind of stuff just because we've really been nose of the grindstone getting a lot of work stuff done. And I think kind of be nice to, we're just trying to kind of have a less of a chaos.
I don't think that'll ever happen though. Stephanie says watching us is entertainment.
Oh, thanks.
I'm sorry. Do we drink tap water? Yeah.
Yes. In fact, it's funny because
I'm not going to waste money on bottled water.
Well, we've actually asked for tap water when we were in Europe. A couple places, people were.
They looked at us.
They looked at us like, "You want tap water?"
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, "Well, yeah."
Lisa says,
"Is there something wrong with the tap water?" Well, they would say, "Well, no," but nobody ever asks for tap water.
Yeah. Lisa says, do you tithe? Does it have to be 10%? So yes, we tithe, and yes, we think it should be 10%. You're not going to hell if you don't tithe 10%, but God does give us a guideline of 10% to tithe. And for those of you who say that's Old Testament, not New Testament, you're totally wrong. It says in the New Testament that you should still give your tithes also. So just don't give me that baloney for all of you who are going to comment on that. But anyway, it should be 10%. It doesn't have to be. You're not going to go to hell for it, but that's what we suggest. So.
The New Testament says you should give as your heart's prompted and that God loves a cheerful giver.
No, but it's also in there that he's talking to the Pharisees about giving their 10%.
Yeah, but they're the Pharisees and they're living under the law.
I know. Well, that's true. But if he's talking about in the New Testament,
so
then I'm
the
assuming
New Testament,
for us.
Nowhere in the New Testament does it say 10%. However, Jesus says when you tithe.
Yes.
And the Bible says that you should give as you're feeling led because God loves a cheerful giver. I would say that the spirit of it is that God would expect us to to give willingly at least 10%. But at the same time, I think the admonition about being a cheerful giver is if you're giving 7%, you're like, I can't believe I have to do this. Then your faith is probably not that strong at the moment. And God would rather that you are giving cheerfully than you feel like it's a debt you're paying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Simple Guy, Simple Life loves Tightwad Tuesday. Thank you.
Yay.
I'm so glad you like it. Matthew says they only have $1,200 left until they are debt free. You go. Gabby, love your channel and recipes. Thank you. How much extra do you guys suggest we pay to our mortgage payment to pay it off? As much as you can. I mean, when we got to the point where we could start dumping $5,000 and $10,000 a month on our mortgage, we did it. So we just dumped as much as we could on our mortgage to get it paid off.
Put like pretty much the whole income on there. But when we did this budget, I noticed it said that we were not making that much money back then. It was like $2,400 a month or something. At that time, we said, let's give at least $200 a month consistently every month. Because you could give like $800, but if you can only do it once and then you don't do it for 8 more months, then it would be better to just do $200 every month. But there's a point where I looked and I realized how much interest we were paying because it was like $600 a month was going just the interest on the mortgage. And that's when I really got the fire in the belly to pay it off. And then it was, I realized that if you pay at a full extra payment every month, that'll reduce it a lot and a lot more quickly. So I would say, but like Tara said, as much as you can. And even when we were able to afford to be more frivolous with the money, we were still pretty nose to the grindstone to try to get that mortgage knocked out.
Yeah. Luis, did you have them shake the paint up good? Yes, I did. And it's just cruddy paint. I think paint companies just don't make good paint anymore. So, and I realized that's why people like all this chalk paint and stuff, because they think that they're doing less coats. They're not, but they think they're doing less coats by not having to prime and all that. But yes, I primed, and I still had to put 3 to 4 coats of paint on my kitchen. It was ridiculous with the bear. 3 coats with the Sherwin-Williams with primer. I'm just so mad. I could just spit nails. Vicky just got corned beef at Safeway for $1.88. Very good. Wow, that's great. Nancy, doctors tell us because of my home cooking, our health is better. The recipes in your cookbooks are the types they suggest eating. Wow, very good. She keeps her cholesterol and BP down. Very good. Is it wise
Using our cookbook? That's awesome.
Jim, is it wise to sell a car at a loss to get rid of the car payments? It might be.
I think it normally would be.
Yeah.
I mean, if it depends on how much more you owe and how much the car has lost its value, but it's good to add up. If we make the payments for the rest of the time, how much is that going to cost us? And you might find that it's going to cost you like $30,000 in interest or something like that. And then you realize, well, I can sell it now and lose $2,000 and buy a $3,000 or $5,000 car with cash. You'll be way ahead almost all the time. I think there might be an occasion or two where that's not the case, but it would basically be that your car is almost paid off. Yeah.
Angel on a mission says we will stay one vehicle family until our debt is paid off. Yep, us too. That's why we haven't bought a new car yet, because we're trying to get all our house paid off and everything. Wendy,
it is funny because we noticed there are a lot of people that really like fancy cars and like, how come you don't have a fancy car? But then they're like, how come you live in a nice house? Like, because we don't have a fancy car.
Because I'm not throwing money away on interest every month.
Yeah.
Wendy says she loves the show and the cookbook's 25% off right now. Thank you. I have grown spiritually and as well from watching your show. Yay. Thanks so much. Thanks for helping us pay off our house. Janice, I thought you had 4 kids and then also a niece to make 5. Yes. Today I heard you had 3 kids. How many do you have? No, I said I had 3 adult kids.
Well, and also
4 adults, I guess, if you count my niece too. So I have 4 adult kids if you count my niece, but we have 3 adult biological children and 1 minor. So. And
I don't know if you may have also been reading, because that post about the budget says that we had 3 kids at the time of that budget. So I don't know if you read that, but just FYI.
You want to send me the next one, please? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jenny, for the Bible money. We will use that to send Bibles. Yes, thank you, everyone, for all the donations. Oh, hello, my cousin. Hello.
Whoops.
You'll have to tell me where you're at now.
It's an undisclosed location.
We're going to Rapid City soon, and so if you're anywhere in that direction, we might say hi. I don't know if you are. I can't remember which direction you said you were going. Okay, Mike's sending me the next set of questions here. Should
be coming your way.
Janice says she bakes the egg rolls. That's a good idea. To bake the egg rolls, yeah. Susan says, y'all, hard times are coming. Get these cookbooks. I also have one of the planners. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you need a depression cooking cookbook, this is it. You know, a lot of my grandmothers and great-grandmothers' recipes are in here. My mom, who raised 2 teens on $500 a month, her recipes are in there. So Mike and I, when we were living on $125 a month with 2 kids for our grocery bill, yeah.
Well, a lot of those recipes, a lot of that you can make all the dinner for the whole family for $5, right?
Oh, yeah. And I still do it.
With like 5 to 10 minutes worth of work, and then you might do the work and then throw it in the oven or something, but it's just a few minutes worth of work too, which is why we were like, people do this.
Aiden, too bad your cooking videos don't do good. I'm sorry, I know. But our views doubled when I stopped doing the cooking videos. So we're trying to figure out, I don't know. We were trying to decide if we should just go a whole nother different way on YouTube. The other day we found somebody who's doing something else that we thought we would like, and we were like, wait a minute, this is so much easier than we're doing right now. Maybe we should do that instead. Diana, I love your whole wheat bread. Thank you. Can I freeze it? Yes. And I would just defrost it on the counter. Just take it out and defrost it. Laura, yes, guacamole freezes well. The lemon or lime juice that you put in there keeps it from turning brown. Lisa, thanks so much for giving everyone a lot of great advice. Thank you. See, everybody says I give them great advice.
Yes. Well, I agree. I every now and then I have to stop and admit it's true.
I'm not bossy. I'm just aggressively helpful.
With a capital aggressively.
Jeannie, I went to Hobby Lobby and got the tiny jars you had gotten. They were 60% off. Oh, man. I didn't get a good deal. Actually, those were so stinking cute, weren't they? I can't wait to use those. Patricia, I'm at the same point as you with remodeling. Hurry up and get it done. Yeah, I'm at the hurry up and get it done point now. I'm like, okay, let's be finished with this. Darlene, please do a painting video. It'd be fun to watch you paint. Well, my paint came into the restore today, so I'm going to be painting again. I am getting a little tired of painting, honestly. But I was going to paint the laundry room, and so I slopped the paint for the cabinets on the walls, not being careful because I thought, well, I'm going to paint the living room or the laundry room. And now I'm thinking, I wonder if the old owners have paint to match the laundry room so that I can just touch it up because I'm not sure I feel like painting the entire laundry room now. But anyway. Ernie says, my mom always said you cannot give God. Yep, that's true. Brenda, after watching you, I've gone to Goodwill. I have found some really good clothes, some brand names, and some very good price. I had never thought of going. I also have been taking and donating clothes I don't want or need anymore. You go. That is great. Sarah says, you found the best show in the whole entire world. You'll learn so much, how to save money, how to cook, and save money, and some good cleaning and organizing tips. Well, thank you, Sarah. That was so nice. Give the next back.
Barbara says the reason for my question to you, Tara and Mike, is because I'm weeding out the pastors, etc., going a little sideways. It's getting hard to find pastors to go with the Bible scriptures. And then Barbara said that the actual question is further back in the scroll, but if I go all the way back to the beginning, it's not there. So if you could.
Something happened. I don't know why.
Well, I think what happens is if you post a question before the show starts, some of those comments, apparently, some of them stay, but some of them don't.
So repost it, Barbara Hawkins, and we will check your comment for you. Yeah, it is getting.
Did you get my other list?
I'm done with it. I am it is extremely difficult to find solid Bible teaching right now. That's why we always recommend, right now at the moment, Pastor Jack Hibbs, Real Life with Jack Hibbs. He's
the very
solid.
Best.
Pastor JD Farrar, he's solid. Mark Henry, he is solid. Charles Stanley is solid. David Jeremiah is solid. I would not watch Charles Stanley's son, Andy Stanley, though. I would not watch Andy Stanley. I wouldn't watch Joel Osteen. But really, if you watch those other guys, you don't need to be watching a whole lot more, you know. So I wouldn't really worry too much about it. Sorry. I am extremely tired. So Ellie didn't watch the video on the avocados. No, my children don't watch my videos. They're going to be shocked someday when I'm dead and they will go back and watch our videos.
Like, Mom said that? Why didn't I learn that 5 years ago?
Yeah, they're going to be surprised. That's all I'm saying. I'm kidding, Ellie. Peggy, love watching you. Got in the free Bible. So much appreciated. Yeah, I'm so glad. A lot going on in my family. I'm totally stressed. Join the rest of us. I have pretty much decided that post-traumatic stress is just my life. So I am just determined that there is never a point. Everybody says reduce the stress in your life. I don't even think that's anything that's even possible. I truly see no way that reducing your stress in your life, that's even a possible thing. I really don't see that's even possible. Anyway, yeah. Janice, I bake. Oh yeah, I read that one. Tammy, I made the gluten-free sandwich bread last night. Okay. I'm telling you guys, if you follow the directions exactly, it will turn out. But it is the best gluten-free sandwich bread for only about $1.50 a loaf instead of $7 a loaf. It was super easy and came out perfect, she said. I see, she agrees with me. It's the best gluten-free, dairy-free bread I have ever had, isn't it? It is delicious. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go try it if I can find my yeast. I can't find the yeast. So as soon as I can find the yeast, I'm going to try it in the new bread maker I got and see if I can, that one that I got for $5 at the thrift store, see if I can get it to work. Ruth says, says she lives in Houston and keeps her AC at 78 to 80. Yeah.
And
it's very
Houston
possible.
is
Yeah.
one of the most humid places on
Houston
Earth.
is worse than Wichita.
Yeah.
but-
Houston is Houston and Louisiana are super, super humid places.
Nancy says in hot and humid Louisiana, they keep theirs at 78. Yeah, it is very possible. It's
If
very
Houston
possible.
and Louisiana probably, well, and Florida would be the most.
Annabelle's, you should do live shows daily. I miss you so much when you don't. I really love you. You are too funny. Blessings from Sweden. Did you know I was an exchange student in Sweden in Vallentuna?
Vallentuna.
I'm not saying it with a Swedish accent. I know it's wrong, but yes, I went to go be a Swedish exchange student there, and then I got sick and had to come home. But I loved Sweden. Oh my goodness, the flowers are so beautiful. And the host family that I stayed with, she was my best friend in the States, and then I went to go stay with her in Sweden, and her neighbor had the most beautiful flower garden. I would love to live there just for the flowers. Yep. And an angel on a mission, I find it ridiculous that car prices are sometimes higher than houses. I know. I was looking, and a Toyota, what kind of was it? It wasn't a 4Runner, and it wasn't a Highlander. It was another bigger SUV. What's the other SUV Toyota? You know what the other Toyota SUV is? Not the 4Runner, not the Highlander.
Oh, I can't remember what it's
Oh,
called.
crud, I
It's
can't
bigger than a
remember.
Highlander, though.
Is it Sequoia?
Maybe.
Well, anyway, I went and looked, and it was $90,000 for a 2021.
Wow.
I was like, have you lost your mind? Who spends $90,000 on a SUV? Maybe if you have 15 kids, I guess you got to get them around somewhere. But my word.
Yeah.
No, even if you have 15 kids, that's ridiculous. My aunt had 12 and she never spent $90,000 on a car. I guarantee you. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, yeah. Okay, you got next set of questions.
While you're answering me quick, hold on just a second.
Yes, Jenny. We got the super chat for the Bible. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Good, I didn't see that.
I thought we told you thank you, but thank you if we didn't. We did see that. Thank you so much.
Was that today?
Yes.
How did I miss it?
I don't know, but it was on there. I saw it.
Oh, okay,
I think
cool.
I told her, but
Question 7 coming at you.
So anyway,
Yes.
no, I'm just looking to see while I'm waiting to get the message coming. Okay. 6 cars in a line at a car shop, and I live in a small town. Gas station across from them, $3.59. Hope they don't complain about gas prices. I know. These same people, it's the same thing in our town. I am not exaggerating. Starbucks will have 15 cars in the line every single day, like for hours on end. It's crazy. Jen, I hear a lot of people think taking their lunch has to be boring or is hard. Also, many people don't know how to cook. You work at home, people DoorDash, Uber. I know it's crazy and they can't pay the bills. I know. Jen, historical sites and state parks in Wyoming are cheaper. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Grant, how's the kitchen coming along? Oh yeah, I talked about that. Oh, I don't know what I did to my wrist, guys. It's just hurting really bad. I woke up in the middle of the night and it started hurting really bad. And it was better this morning, but then as the day went on and I kept using it, it was getting worse to the point where I couldn't even lift anything anymore or hold anything this afternoon. So Jim, they had to take out my left kidney Wednesday. Oh my goodness, because the tumor was so connected to the kidney that it was cancerous. I'm recovering nicely. Oh, thank goodness. Thank you guys for praying for him also. Yes. Oh, wow. I am so glad. Thank you for that update. Connie, I know firsthand how Boulder is. Oh my goodness. She used to live there and work she used to work there and lived in Longmont. I'm so sorry. I'm glad it's used to. Yeah. Actually, every time we go back to Colorado now, we're like, has this gotten worse? And our kids are like, nope, it's not your imagination. It's getting worse. We have friends that we go down. Well, the people who do our planner that print our planner is in Colorado and Fort Collins. We love Goalie and Fareed at CopyCo. And so we I have no idea what the point of any of that was. Oh yeah, every time we go back, we're just like, we can't get out of Colorado fast enough. Ugh, just don't like it there anymore at all. Nancy says, when we were younger, our big way for entertainment was going out to play games with the kids. Yeah. Justine, if you don't have a home church, who should we tithe to? So what we did in that situation, when we didn't have a church, we would send it to an online church if we were watching them. Like during COVID, we sent it to Jack Hibbs' church. Other ways, before we had online, so before there was churches online and we didn't have a church, we would go buy things that like the Women's Crisis Center. We would go buy things on clearance, like purses, like the end of the season clearance, like ropes, purses, and that kind of thing, and donate those. We would donate directly to them. Amish Rescue Mission is one that we donate to. Women's domestic violence centers. We donate to pregnancy crisis centers. We donate to children's homes. We donate to children's homes. So all those different places that are Christian-based organizations that help widows and orphans, basically, is what we do. And then sometimes we have donated to ministries that help kids in other countries, like get water, food, shoes, those types of things. Karen, I tried your bread recipe and made the bagels. They were so easy and so delicious. I've tried making bread before only to fail, but your recipe came out perfect. Thank you. I'm telling you guys, we test all of our recipes. I know they work because we have tested them over and over and over again, and our viewers have tested them over again. So when they don't work, you've done something wrong, or you substitute. I don't know how many times we get, well, your recipe was awful. I substituted the shortening for olive oil. I substituted the white flour for quinoa flour. I'm like, of course it's not going to taste good because you didn't follow the recipe. Follow the recipe.
If you substitute 5 different things, it's not the same recipe anymore.
It's okay to substitute once you learn how to cook and know how to cook and what substitutions work with what things. But until you know that, follow the recipe. So, Turret, hello. And they drink tap water. Yeah, in Norway.
We drank tap water.
We drank tap water in Norway, and it was fine. It was good. She says the new trend there is younger people to buy water in a bottle. Now, I'm really surprised about that in Norway since they're so environmental in Norway. I'm surprised they even allow water in bottles there, actually, the way they are with some of their stuff. So,
it's funny because I'm sure there are some places where it's maybe not safe to drink tap water. But in general, I think people assume it's not safe when it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is in some of the other countries, but I know with the places we've lived, we get a report from our water department every so often as to how much of everything is in the water and what it's rated in terms of safety. But then also you can filter. You can get a Brita. We had a Brita when we were unsure about water at one point, and this house has a filter because there's some iron that comes through the pipes here.
Connie, my whole perspective on tithing changed after I watched your older video on tithing. Well, thank you. Yes, we've done several videos on tithing. I don't know, 2 or 3 videos on tithing. Some have been live shows answering questions, and some have just been our 2 cents on tithing. So, yes.
Oops.
So, yeah, guys, we have a lot of videos. Just go back and watch some of our old videos, and you'll be like, we could be dead and they'll still be watching us on YouTube because we have so many videos. Oh, good grief, my nose. All right, let's see. I'm trying to get the questions, but they're not coming through.
Cat Lover, why cook by Cat Lover? My Highlander's a 2013, bought used, is still going strong with over 100,000 miles. Not sure how many miles it has. Wow, Cat Lover. Toyotas, I think they're supposed to go up to 300,000. So you probably have a lot of time on it if you just keep working it. You didn't get it?
Yeah. Imagine paying cash for that $90,000 car. I know. I mean, I guess if I was Trump, I would do it. Or even if I had millions, I would do it. I'm not saying I wouldn't buy a new car, but my house needs to be paid off. My retirement needs to be funded before I'm buying a brand new car like that. And I don't have either of those things done at the moment. So I would buy a new car when that happens. But
can you check again? I can send it again, but
I ain't got nothing.
I'm
I'm sorry.
Tar's computer doesn't feel like going anymore.
It doesn't compute. Just send it without the.
Well, I sent it so you know that.
I know, but I deleted everything else. Now it came through. What do you think about living on Nomad to pay off debt? I was in a car accident and have massive medical debt and student loans. I mean, you can. That's perfectly valid. My son did that, so that's a perfectly valid way to do it if you want. How long does jelly last? Years, because it's got sugar. Sugar is a natural preservative, and so it'll last years and years and years. Gino, last time I figured it out, it cost me $25 a week to feed 4 of us. Good going. You go, girl. That's good. How do I pay off credit cards on disability? My house is paid off and I don't have a car payment. Got volume 1 and 2 for Christmas. Love the recipes. My prepper journey. Well, you just, every little cent that you get, you just have to put it on your debt and put it on your credit cards and see if there's anything you can do on the side to bring in extra money, or ask for money as gifts to put on your credit card, you know, for holidays, that kind of thing. So, Louise, do I make my own egg roll wrappers? No, I don't. Lala, hello, Mr. Mike. How long did it take you to get acclimated to cold weather after living in Texas?
Well, when I went to Colorado, it was pretty quickly just because I was wearing a lot of thicker gear. But I would say really acclimated after a year. I mean, I was comfortable because I was wearing like double socks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But it depends on how far. Like here, there are days where I think I've lived in a cold climate for a long time and it still seems pretty cold.
Read Frosty Gal's comment up there.
My husband just went full tightwad Tuesday following in Mike's footsteps. Yay! He found 6 rolls of duct tape and 50 bubble mailers for $5 today. And he's saying, look, I'm like Mike. Thanks. That's totally cool. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
That's funny. Single Guy Simple Life says we should be a reality show. I don't think if people actually, if we had live cameras going in our house all the time, I don't think people would believe the stuff that goes on in our lives. We don't tell you guys everything that goes on in our lives. And I don't think people would believe it. Our lives are so much crazier than a reality show on a daily basis. People would think we were faking it. They really would. Don't you agree?
Yeah, you mean like the weird things that happen? Yeah.
And stuff we have to go through. I'm sure
we've shared some of those weird things, but I can't think of examples of any of them.
We didn't tell them anything about the court stuff with your parents.
Well, but
we haven't told them lots of stuff about us. So, I mean, people would just look there and be like, whoa.
Well, I didn't mean that. I meant, well, I mean, we don't have that kind of stuff happening every day.
We have a lot of stuff happening every day. That's why I'm in the condition I'm in. And it is. Yeah, we have a lot happening. Sincerely, Amber, I made the pancakes and the scones for my cookbook. Yay! Her kids love them both. And they are picky kids. Yay, that is so good. Wendy, aggressively helpful, yes. Or Stephanie, aggressively helpful, yes. I think I'm just aggressively helpful. Wendy says, I bought a beautiful Michael Kors blouse today. Goodwill for $6. It looks brand new. Yay. Tanya, I started watching Jack Hibbs and Generation 2434. Thank you for telling me about them. You are welcome. Yeah, Generation 2434, he's a good, solid Bible teacher, too. My prepper journey, we got her hooked on Jack Hibbs, too. We are not supposed to let the worries of this world consume us. Okay, I have no idea what that's in reference to, but yeah. But still, it still piles on top of you. Denise, or Donnies, I don't know how you say it. It is ridiculous how much cars are. My best friend keeps asking me, when am I going to buy a new car? I told her when the 2004 quits on me. Yeah, I mean, we're keeping an eye out. Oh, thank you, Wendy, for the super chat so much. We're keeping an eye out for cars in case we come along a really stinking good deal. I think I'm going to be looking for a Hummer now. I'm just saying. And
you have to tell the backstory now.
well, I don't know if they want me to share their story on.
We could
The
just say
world.
somebody had this story.
So somebody was looking for a new car and they wanted a truck, and they just happened across a Hummer and it wasn't a good one. Well, then they happened across another Hummer and they went to Billings to look at it, and they said, well, will you come down on the price? And the guy, and it was $14,000, $14,500 or something. The guy said, no, I think it was $23,000 is what I said. $24,000 is the lowest we'll go. And he said, but you had it advertised for 14. And he was like, oh no, this car's 23,000. And he was like, oh, well then never mind. That's too expensive. Well, so then he said the manager talked to the guy, or the salesman talked to the manager for like a half an hour or something. He came back and said, well, if you take it today, you can have 14,000. So they weren't looking for a Hummer, but they said, oh man, we love it, especially here in Wyoming. I can see why. But yeah.
We never thought we would want a vehicle like that, but if it was that much, then it's the same price as
Could you see me
the
in
other
a Hummer?
trucks. Oh my goodness.
Mom wants a Hummer, but could you see me in a Hummer? Watch out, people.
You'd have to mount some artillery on top. Then you'd look the part.
Just saying. Do you know what I can do with a Hummer? Yeah. But
Wow.
did you send me the next batch?
Which batch?
That was 8.
Well, there's only 3 questions, but yeah.
Okay, you can send me those and we can finish. But yeah, I mean, Mom took a picture in front of this Hummer that she saw and sent it to my brother and told him she got a new car. We should buy Mom a Hummer. We should do that. What would she do if there was a Hummer sitting in her driveway?
She would drive right over the neighbor with his snow problem.
Whoops. You sent me 8. I need 9. The 3 questions.
No,
Oh,
that's
there
the
it
8
is.
from before
Oops.
when you told me I hadn't
Oh,
sent you 8.
it just came in. Sorry. My prepper journey. I made the chocolate chip cookies from our book. They didn't look like, but I trusted the process. They were amazing. Thank you. Yes, they are very delicious. And our Dining on a Dime cookbook, 25% off, guys, right now. Amelia, my one GF is a finance bigwig and buys a new car every 3 to 5 years, even with no mileage on them. Then refinances her mortgage to pay off her car. They complains about her mortgage payment and not being able to pay it off. I know.
People don't make the connection between those things, that if you pay off your debt by putting it into your mortgage, you're not really paying it off. You're just moving the debt somewhere else.
For longer.
For longer. And another thing that a lot of people do is they'll trade in a car, and the way that they pitch it to you when you buy it is they'll take your other car in and pay off the payments or whatever. But what they actually do is they just finance what you still owe on the other car into the new car. So now your payment is because of the new car and the old car together, and you don't even have the old car anymore, and you're making new payments on it. So it's totally crazy.
Well, and somebody said on the Hummer, yeah, but the gas mileage on the Hummer. But think about it. Okay, so you get a Hummer for $14,000, and you save yourself. Most people are spending $40,000 easy on a car now. They only drive it in town. They have another car for tooting around other places. That's teensy tiny car that gets really good gas mileage. It might even be electric. I don't know. But they just use it for the snow and dealing with going out in the country and stuff like that. You can get a lot of miles for $30,000, you know?
Yeah.
You can get a lot of gas mileage for $30,000.
If you drove it, across the country all the time, then it would be a bigger problem. Yeah. But we live in a pretty small town, so
Lisa says, I watched several pastors on YouTube, Pastor Jack Hibbs, J.D. Farrar, Brandon Holthouse, Amir Safonte, Jan Markell, Tom Hughes, Pastor Skip Heisick, and Ken Ham from the Ark, Answers in Genesis. Yes, those are all very good people that we would recommend.
Cinda says, first time joining live. I have the Spiral Bound Volume 1 and the Volume 2, and it was red. Every time I see the blue, I want to order, even though I have the same volume.
It's the same book. We thought Volume 1 and 2 go together, so we'll make them the same color. I had no. That's what happens when you're self-published. You don't know that stupid stuff like that is going to throw everybody for a tither. So
we totally didn't realize, that people wouldn't be able to recognize the difference.
That was totally our fault. Totally our fault.
But it's a collector's item now because it's the only printing that's done that way.
It is. Yeah. So if I die, sell it on eBay. It's a collector's item. The only printing of the red Dining on a Dime cookbook. That's what happened with Carla Emery.
Yeah, Ryman Ancient says, no, I wouldn't want a Hummer, but that's just me. Well, funny thing is, even if the price was lower, my concern with the Hummer is it kind of is something that sort of advertises something. I noticed, I like the cars that we've had because you could leave something valuable in them and nobody would notice because it's an old car. So
yeah, but who's going to break into a Hummer? I'm telling you, if you got a Hummer, you've got something to defend the Hummer too.
Well, that's
and you can
true.
Be guaranteed that you will defend it.
You're just saying that because you live in Wyoming.
Well, I'm just saying. Oh, my cousin has a collector's items. Yes, you do. I didn't know I sent you the red one, but yes, we have the red one. Grandma says, I used to see a lot of Hummers in our areas. I don't see them like I used to for a long time. Yeah, probably not. That's probably why they got it for such a good deal, because they knew they were going to have to hold on to that thing for years.
Well, so. A lot of times vehicles like that, people will buy them for their business. Maybe it is actually for their business, but the business really doesn't need it, but they buy it because someone tells them they're going to get a tax write-off. So if they spend $8,000 on a vehicle or $80,000 on a vehicle, they'll get, like $10,000 to $15,000 back on their taxes or something, but it doesn't end up working out because you spend $80,000 to get 10 or 15.
This is he said a friend used to drive his riding mower uptown 2 blocks to the post office every day. Golf carts are another option. Oh my goodness.
I knew
when we lived in Idaho, I have never seen anything like it. There were more golf carts than there were cars in the little itty bitty town of Nez Perce, Idaho. They drove their golf carts everywhere.
Well, there was lawnmowers.
Everywhere. And lawnmowers. Both of them. It was their lawnmower and their golf cart. They were all over. And there wasn't even a golf range there, I don't think. They just drove those around because it was easier than their car and saved miles on their car. It's hilarious. Now, here in Wyoming, the big thing is, what are those things called? Side-by-side?
Side-by-side UTVs.
What's UT?
I think it's utility terrain vehicle. They're called. They just call them side by sides here, but they're like a sort of a mini car with it's kind of open for driving around in the mountains and stuff.
Well, so I guess they're allowed on the streets here because every summer, half the cars are those here. But what's so funny is I heard a guy at a garage sale. Little guy driving around. He's got long horns on the front of his golf cart. You see him every garage.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about
I heard him talking. He said, "Oh yeah, it saves me a lot of money saves me a lot of miles on my truck. So I only spent, I think it was like $26,000 on this thing, so I can save all the miles on my truck." And I was like, $26,000.
Yeah, those little side by sides are cool looking, but when I realized
I've never paid that much for a car.
When I realized how much they cost, I thought, well, just buy a car then.
I mean, thinking,
yeah.
Put the miles on your truck.
There are a lot of play toys that people like around here.
Yeah. Oh, they love their toys around here. The ATVs, the UTVs,
snowmobiles.
The snowmobiles.
Holy moly, snowmobiles are expensive.
Yeah, they really like their toys around here. But
did you see this one? I was trying to get your attention on this one right here.
Shannon says, the song Born to Be Wild comes to mind. I know, doesn't it? I could just play that. Maybe those people would let me do a video with their Hummer. I'll pay you $100 to let me do a 15-minute video with your Hummer.
Fluffy Otters, the Dining on a Dime cookbook, hardbound, the same as the spiral bound edition. The Spiral Bound edition in 2019, is that when it changed? In 2019, we did the 20th anniversary edition, and the 20th anniversary edition has the same recipes as this. The older Spiral ones, older than 2019, are 40 recipes less than this book.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys, visit us at livingonadime.com. 25% off right now.
Throw my
We will also send you a free Bible if you want it. Just use a few coupon code FREEBIBLE with the link. We will see you guys next time. Have a good night.
Bye.